Welcome back to What's New in the Lou with Alexis Zotos, presented by Kaldi's Coffee. This is your can't miss weekly podcast helping you stay in the know in St. Louis. So that means the best new restaurants, the can't miss events, but most importantly, the people that continue to make the St. Louis region the best place to live and visit. Now stick around to the end of the episode because I'm going to give you a calendar of events so you know exactly what is happening in St. Louis this weekend so you don't feel left out when you see it all on social media feed come the next week. Now, we have a lot of great spots to eat in St. Louis, but we cannot forget our friends across the river. And this is a particular spot that I will cross a number of rivers to go eat at. I'm talking about Ed's Delicatessen in Edwardsville, and I'm joined here by chef and owner Ed Heath. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Ed, Edwardsville, you've just got a lot of the names there, right?
Yep.
Are you from Edwardsville?
No, I'm from Salt Lake City originally.
Oh, okay. But you have had two really incredible spots right there in Edwardsville on the main street there. What makes that town so special?
Oh, man. I mean, the whole St. Louis region to me is really interesting and special because I think it's like, people have called us a flyover state, but I feel like there's so much going on here food-wise. And on our side of the river, there's little nooks and crannies that you find great stuff. So I don't know. We just felt like the first restaurant, I had no idea what I was doing at all. And we just hoped to be like even mildly successful. And it really did work out great. And so when I came back, I just thought like, A, we needed a sandwich shop, and B, everybody's so friendly here. The community's awesome. Everybody, people come to the back door and literally ask if you need help. So it's a really great place to be.
Let's talk about that sandwich shop because it is much more than just a sandwich shop. When you were thinking about, okay, this is what I want to do next, what went through your mind about kind of creating a concept for this deli?
I've been thinking about it for a long time. I actually just saw an interview from the old days, me saying something like anything for a sandwich. So clearly it's been on my brain for a while. But, anything between two pieces of bread is the greatest thing in the world, in my opinion. And it's endless possibilities. And for the deli, we wanted to make it so that it wasn't just, an 11 to 2 sandwich shop. We wanted a full bar. And our business partner, Tim, he's a major part of that. He's had, what's the name of his old place called? Can we edit this one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Adara, not Adara, dang it. Give me a second. I'll come back with it.
What is it? I'll look it up real quick.
It's gone years ago. It was
Tim, what's Tim's last name?
Tim Foley.
Fuley.
Foley. I cannot believe this is space.
Bar?
It was a wine shop.
Wine shop.
And it's like sitting on the tip of my tongue.
Errato,
thank you. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Tell me when. Just start over, I guess.
Yeah. So my business partner, you can start with.
My business partner Tim is the brains, along with Anthony Youngman, who worked with me at CH years ago. But they both put together this really great bar, great wines, tap beer. Great cocktails, and it's all simple. Everything is, some people might not believe that most things are like 4 or 5 ingredients and that's it. So it's been really fun. And then having people not know that at night you don't have to just eat a sandwich. We started a small plates menu and started that probably in the 3rd or 4th week. And we do really fun stuff. It shouldn't be called small plates. They're huge entree size.
Do you feel like the idea of small plates is like, what does that even mean to you when you say small plates? Like,
I don't know. I think I'm so ridiculous for even thinking about it sometimes because, you think tapas, like actual small plates. And now I just call it that for fun. But yeah, some of them are smaller, like you can get something that is an appetizer. There's usually only 4 items on there. We'll do like a taco. And the one that can't go away ever because people keep screaming at me if I take it off, or just like fried potatoes. And everybody loves fried potatoes.
Oh,
so.
I mean, I love potatoes, anything fried. I mean, you really can't lose. So, but at the core, sandwiches.
Yep.
And so, but it's not just here's some turkey and some Italian meat on some bread. You guys everything is house made.
Yeah. Not all of our bread is house made, but our focaccia, our baker, Ben, who also does our desserts. And if you've seen the dessert case,
good.
He does a great job. He's ridiculous. It's all a thought process, right? And there's not a sandwich on the menu that I wouldn't eat. There's nothing. If something doesn't get a good review, we rethink it. But I eat all the sandwiches at least once a month. So everything gets tasted repeatedly. And obviously with local produce or seasonality or anything, you kind of have to go through some unwanted changes. So stuff changes naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So we just always edit it and make sure that it hits right.
When you were thinking about opening a sandwich spot, was there a sandwich in your mind that you're like, this is my sandwich. This must be on the menu?
I think maybe the roast beef, and only because it's so simple. You know, Dijonnaise, everybody loves I think everybody loves Dijonnaise. And then, you know, thin sliced roast beef and a baguette and some cheese. And it's ridiculous. And I think it's delicious. But it's the most unassuming sandwich on the menu. And it's probably either number one or number two.
What makes a good sandwich in your mind?
Oh, geez. I think the bread should be good, although I've had a lot of sandwiches that don't have good bread, and I've loved the sandwich. I think it has to be thought out. You know, like you have to care about it. So if it's a cold sandwich, it's a hot, obviously. But just giving every little piece of it a little bit of thought and care and control. And I just don't think, I say this like with humility, like I don't think it's that hard, but it just requires that you care. And so for us at the deli, you know, you can tell if somebody's, in any restaurant you go, you can tell where somebody's putting together something with love or not. And I just feel like it's the simplest piece of the puzzle is putting it together with love.
Because it is. It's true. I feel like a sandwich, it can be really simple, but we've all had like a bad sandwich.
Yeah.
We're like, this is no thank you. And like you just sometimes eat it because like that's what you like with a sandwich. You're just like, okay, whatever. I'm eating a bad sandwich.
And I'm hungry.
But like when you have a good sandwich, that's when you realize like, yeah, sometimes there's like nothing better than a really good sandwich.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Hung my name on a sandwich shop. So
right. You have a lot of fun with your sandwiches too. Talk to us about like some of those things that you just have kind of helped, you know, you've created over the last 2 years of being open that have just really wowed people.
The specials, strangely, people are really into. And those are just like, it is sometimes stuff that we think of an hour before service. And I don't mean to like say anything that we care. It's just sometimes you're like, you have a brain fart and you got to get through it. But,
you realize you got to have a sandwich. You got to have a special.
Yeah. And most of it's just a play on anything else, like a Cuban. Today we have the crab salad. So it's Hawaiian red crab, which is the most amazing stuff I've ever had. It just, I don't know, the unique ones. I don't love the idea of like full cultural appropriation, but we do have like a banh mi on the menu, and I try really hard to make it as legitimate as you can. The bread is not a crusty French baguette, but you know, it's a really nice roll from Fazio's. And so we just try to hit it. If we can't hit it 100% on the mark, we try to get as close as possible and maybe like put our own little twist and spin on it. You know, there's mint on this banh mi, and in the States, you don't see a lot of mint on banh mis, but you know, Tim has spent a lot of time overseas, and he's like, every banh mi I had mint on mine. So we put little silly spins on it, I guess. Is
there a sandwich that, you know, is really popular that surprises you, or that did surprise you once it like kind of took off?
I think a little bit the banh mi, the Reuben, which sort of feels like it would be an obvious one to take off because I think everybody likes a Reuben.
That's not my jam.
It's weird. I would have never.
I don't like sauerkraut, and I don't know. I don't really love corned beef.
Yeah, well, and rye bread for me is bitter.
I also don't like rye bread.
Yeah.
So really, I don't like anything about a Reuben.
I'm the same way. I've had them. I've been to Katz's Deli. I've done it all, and I don't know. I really do. Again, I like our Reuben a lot. I leave a lot of the fat on the brisket, so it's really tender and nice. And that one, it did shock me a little bit. Like there's a piece where people like you and I are. There's a lot of us out there that we're not Reuben fans, and it's the number one or number two seller.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal favorite is the turkey, and people get mad at me because turkey is just like generally my favorite sandwich. Even at like someplace like Joya's, I think they have like one of the most slept on turkey sandwiches.
I love it.
People are always like, what do you mean you're getting turkey at Joya's? I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. And I love your turkey sandwich.
Thank you.
Like it's so good. But sandwiches it's not always what you've done. You come from a more fine dining background. Ish.
Sure, yeah, I would say a little bit. Yeah.
Nicer than a sandwich background.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah, Napa Valley was a big piece of the fine dining piece for me.
Yeah, so let's walk it back a little. So you said you're from Salt Lake.
Yep.
Did you start in kitchens early? What's your background as a chef?
I was a chubby little kid that liked to eat a lot, but I don't have like that cool story that everybody has where they're like, oh, I had all these ideas. I went to college, found myself as a busser in Minneapolis at 19. And I love the hustle and bustle, but I was in natural resource management and I didn't even know food was a real career, which is silly to say, but I really didn't know that you get paid to do it for life. And then went to Napa Valley. I met my ex-partner, Jenny. We went to Napa Valley and culinary school at the CIA in Napa and had a blast. I mean, I worked at a place called Jolie. I worked for a chef, Ken Tominaga, who taught me about sushi, worked in Michelin places. Jenny's background was at the French Laundry. So like we had a really cool upbringing as like 20 somethings.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when we moved out here, we honestly felt like we had no idea what we were doing. And we had a big support system. Her family was massive.
Mm-hmm.
And the town, Edwardsville, is so kind and great. And St. Louis is another piece of that. Like Kevin Willman came to our back door because he had worked with Tim, and was like, can I help you guys out in any way? So it just felt natural and lovely.
Was that surprising coming from California or Salt Lake or Minneapolis, maybe, that sort of camaraderie of the food scene here?
Huge. We didn't have it in Napa. It was cutthroat out there. And I'm assuming it still is. I don't go back very often. But yeah, like the fact that anybody offered help or anything, a can of mustard, was really a cool piece. And so that affected me for the rest of my career from that day on. So any place I've ever gone, if somebody needs something, I'm there, like whatever you need. I think the competitive piece of our industry is not really a healthy piece. I know it exists, but to not be there for it's hospitality. So to me, you have to treat each other in the industry and your staff like you are the guest or they're the guest. And so it just felt so great to come back here to a place where it feels like people do that for each other.
USA Today readers have named Kaldi's Coffee the best coffee chain for the second year in a row. Since 1994, Kaldi's Coffee has built its reputation on thoughtful sourcing, careful roasting, and warm, consistent service that shows up in every cup. It's an honor earned through daily dedication to quality. Explore Kaldi's best blends and find your cafe at kaldiscoffee.com. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that first restaurant here, Cleveland Heath. I mean, that is a place that is so beloved by so many people, and I think really kicked off that food scene, if you will, that Edwardsville is really becoming known for. What was that experience like for you? What was that restaurant like, opening it and then seeing that reaction from people?
It was like mind-blowing and really humbling. We were working like 90 hours a week. From the day that we got here to the day we opened was 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, we painted as fast as we could.
And that's like an old-ish building, right?
Yeah, and somebody was there before us. It was called Fond.
Okay.
They did a really great job. I just think, I don't know, maybe wrong place, wrong time, or right place, wrong time, or whatever. But we got in there, painted, put some of our own spins on it really quick. We built out the bar. It was only a 4-seat bar, so we built it out to a bigger bar. And then we opened. And it was crazy as in the kitchen was an office. So you had to go around.
In the middle of the kitchen?
In the center of the kitchen. And we made it. Our first week was awesome. And we're like, holy cow, we were already doing okay. So with the second week, the landlord helped us tear it out. And we opened the kitchen up, bought more equipment. And then it was kind of off to the races at that point in time. And we just kept trying to do the best we could do. We were tired. There were definitely days where I felt like I was not doing a good job. And I know my partner Jenny felt that way. But we had a killer staff. Eli, who helped us open, Sam, who's my current business partner, who runs Sam's down the street from us. She was a opening bartender there too. Rick, who is our other business partner, who also runs Sam with Sam's. You got that?
We got it.
So the people around us really like elevated us. And I think they saw that we were working really hard and they just wanted to also work really hard. It was a really cool thing that just all happened at once, kind of felt like naturally.
Are those lessons, I mean, do you feel like sometimes that's possible to replicate? If you have just this really incredible team, do you chalk that up to luck in some way? Or as a restaurant owner or a business owner in general, are there lessons there that others can take away on how to kind of build that really great staff, which helps in any business?
I don't think there's a particular formula, but I do think attempting to treat people with respect as best you can. Obviously, in any industry, there's stressors, and you might misstep, somebody else might misstep. So there's battles and stuff along the way. But the truth is, again, like treating people like it's hospitality. And I've gotten really lucky. The deli has probably 40% of our staff are people that I've worked with that came on board because I think they believe in themselves and they believe in the mission. And so I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is luck. But a lot of it is how you watch other people, that are helping you out treat each other. Because I learn a lot of lessons from people. Natasha is somebody that we work with who is amazing. She's kind of our head admin. And just watching her talk to people, she's like the mom. She takes care of everybody. And I take tons of lessons from her on how to, when I'm hyped up or upset, I relax and remember what she does. And, same with Tim. Like watching Tim at the bar with guests is pretty awesome. He's just so fluid and careful and kind. And I think that's just it, is it's easy for us to get, mired in our own lives and BS that happens, that you can let that affect you, or you can go to work every day and take it as like a break from life. And it's been really fun to meet the people that we've met.
Yeah. So you guys left Cleveland Heath. You sold it.
Sold in 2016, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Where did you go from there?
We went back to Salt Lake. So as I said earlier, my partner Jenny and I met in a place called The Pub. So it's Desert Edge Brewery at The Pub. And at the time they had 4 restaurants, and we had gotten to chatting, and they sort of extended an invite and said, we'd like you to maybe become part ownership. And we had been pushing for it for a long time. I think they, felt like that was the right time. And so it wasn't assumed that we were going to leave. We bought in before we sold. But then it just sort of felt right. I missed mountain biking and hiking and being on rivers and everything. And so we went back, and it was tough. That was pre-COVID, and their business is over 50 years old, I think. And so there's a lot of like things in that. There was 10 owners, including us. That's just tough, and it didn't work out for us. And sadly, one of my favorite restaurants that they had, Martine, is gone now. We have a Martine salad on the menu, which is a tribute to that. But we sort of just felt like it didn't work out. And then she and I broke up, and I took on a couple jobs. I was at Punch Bowl Social, former fun and games place. And then I did.
Does that not exist anymore?
I think it's small now. I want to say they lost.
I went to one in Nashville.
There's one in Chicago still, I think, too. And the one in Salt Lake, it was pretty quick-lived. I think they overestimated the valley, which the valley's huge now. Like, they could probably go back and do it again. But anyway, so then the pandemic hit, and I was like burned out. I was done. I was like, I'll be done forever. And I took about 1.5 years off and realized how much I missed it, and worked with a friend in his catering business. And that's when I was like, I got to go back and do this again.
So what made you decide to come back here? Like, what pulled you back here? Although we do have mountain biking here. Not
we do.
Quite the same as Salt Lake, I'm sure.
Well, in Edwardsville, we have the SIU campus, which is a bunch of acreage of really cool stuff. And so I do that once in a while. I think the sense of community was great. In Salt Lake, it felt like it was that competition thing that I was talking about, where it's not very friendly sometimes. And maybe I was just on the outside of it. There's probably tons of people that feel opposite. But here, it felt like there's just no place like it. And it feels like there's always opportunity here. I don't mean for that to sound like anybody can do anything or everybody's always going to be successful, but there's always opportunity and always support. So I just felt like it was the right thing to do. And I missed so many people. And I missed the food here a lot. There's some cool tradition that I don't think gets observed outside of St. Louis that's really
like
neat.
What?
It's silly things like the gooey butter cake and all that stuff, but really, and like the pizza. And I know it's not for everybody, but that's what makes it fun, is it's not for everybody.
Right.
We love it. And we're even split here 50-50.
It's true.
And that's what makes it fun. And like, we are a sports city. Even though we lost the Rams, we still are a huge sports city. And I think people like having fun here. And it reminds me a lot of actually Minneapolis. Everybody in Minneapolis parties all year round. And it feels like St. Louis is the same way. Even when it's 105 outside, people are out playing and eating and drinking.
I know. I was just in Forest Park. I mean, as we're recording this, it's like 107 today is what it's supposed to be. And people are golfing and running. I'm like, it is too hot to be doing any of that.
Yeah. I'm inside as much as I can be inside right now.
But people like it.
People are out.
And I think that is, and personally, I like the heat. Like, bring me St. Louis summer any day over the winter.
Wow.
Yeah, any day. Never. You can find me April through like October and just forget the rest of the year for me. And it doesn't even get that cold here, but True. I don't like being cold. But there is something really special about summer in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And summer in, Edwardsville has got so much going on. For people that are listening and are like, okay, well, I'm definitely coming to try the sandwich spot because you have to. What else do people need to check out when they're in Edwardsville?
Oh man, there's construction right now, so it's a little bit difficult to get around. But there's everything. I mean, there's some of our friends, 1818 Chop House, all those guys. There's Sneaky's Burgers. There's the owners of Cleveland Heath right now do a great job. There's just a lot of that. There's a lot of independent restaurant ownership out there. There's all these little kind of hidden parks everywhere. If you look at a map, you'll be like, I didn't know that existed in that neighborhood that I've never been to within Edwardsville. And then there's, you go into Highland and there's fun little, like I think Powhatan is one of them. This cool old food, like old, a pie and coffee place. And I just think it's a little bit slower pace in the best way possible. But there's also tons of like elevated food, great coffee. Goshen Coffee is on our side of the river. Jay's an incredible person. So if you really want to come and see it, I think do a little bit of research, find out what you want to do for the day, but your day is endless out there, it feels like.
Yeah. Is there something when you think about, kind of what's next? You mentioned you guys have not only sandwiches, you have your quote unquote small plates that are bigger than small plates.
Yeah.
But is there a pull at all to do more? Or are you really happy where you are right now? Not saying you shouldn't be happy, but you know what I mean?
It's both. It's really weird. I was just thinking the other day, I could just sit in the deli and never do anything ever again and be happy. Cause I just like who we are in the family. But we do, like I said, we have Sam's down the street, and Sam and Rick are incredible. Rick is doing food that, we call it a dive bar. I hope they don't get mad at me for saying that, but it's a dive bar in the best way. They've cleaned it up. And so it's not creepy. It used to be kind of creepy. It's not creepy anymore. It's really beautiful and nice. They do a great job. And we have a huge patio there. And so that's just kind of, it's had some difficulty getting going, but I think it's there. And we've been open for a year. We're on the best food, best French fries, best bar on the A list.
Oh yeah.
So I'm voting for them as much as I can, because I don't do much down there. They're really sort of independent in a lot of ways, and they do a great job.
Best French fry. Now you've piqued my interest.
His pork burger is incredible.
I just had a pork burger for the first time this week.
Oh,
I've never had a pork burger.
Get his.
Oh my God, it was so good. And we grilled it, so I know somebody else could probably make it better.
Yeah, well, and we have Market Basket on our side, and I think there's maybe Market Baskets over here, but Joe's Market Basket on it's sort of an extension of Main Street. They do all kinds of local produce and local meat, and they have a pork burger there, or like 10 different variations that are really good. So we get them all the time. I feel like my
mind just was like, wait, I never really thought about putting pork on a burger before, or making a burger out of pork, and it was really good.
They're really good. Rick's food is amazing. So I highly suggest people go see Sam's Last Chance Saloon. And then we also, we want to do a lot of stuff. Rick and I have talked about a Buy This Slice pizza place. We've talked about sort of an actual tapas style small plates place. And I think it might be hard to really get a town full of people to be into 2-bite things. So we're, everything's an adjustment. We have probably 9 different ideas on the table right now.
Where do you draw inspiration from for both, like from a business perspective, but also in the kitchen? When you're thinking about new sandwiches, things like that, where do you draw inspiration from?
Ton of books, obviously social media. If you're really stuck, peeking at all the people that we follow across the world is huge. Just being able to see all that stuff. And then really my girlfriend's incredible. She's a great cook. She always has some kind of fun idea. It's really just snagging little bits from everywhere and kind of putting them on a plate or trying it out. And if it doesn't work, then you kind of put it aside and rework it. But if I'm really stuck, I get my books out and I read through, and it feels like you get back to homeostasis a little bit, and then you can go back to that simplicity. So I don't know, inspiration's all around for everything, especially a sandwich,
Yeah. You mentioned some of those popular sandwiches on the menu, but what's your favorite sandwich that you guys have on the menu? And don't say it's like picking your kid. We all know we all have a favorite.
It shifts a little bit. The ham and cheese is so unassuming and simple. It's Swiss, cornichon pickles, mayo, ham, and a baguette, and I just love it. We put it on the griddle, so that one rotates in and out as my favorite. But again, the roast beef is one of my favorites. It's got arugula on it, so it's got a little spice and snap to it. Gosh, I don't know. I put a new veggie sandwich on a couple months ago that I really love: roasted red peppers, sprouts, tomatoes, onions, hummus, and a Fazio's roll. So it's really good. Yeah.
At the end of the day, It's about those simple but great ingredients that make up a good sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
We love it. Thanks so much, Ed. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
We like to end each episode with a calendar of things to do in the Lou. This week, of course, is the 4th of July holiday, so a lot of things happening. Let's dive into what's going on across the St. Louis region, June 29th through July 5th. In Edwardsville, the theme of this week's episode, we've got the Community Parade and 4th of July Festival happening on July 4th. We have the O'Fallon, Missouri Heritage and Freedom Festival, July 1st through the 4th. Celebrate St. Louis is back in downtown with a big celebration July 3rd and 4th. St. Charles Riverfest is happening the 3rd and the 4th. And finally, Webster Grove's Community Days 4th of July celebration is July 1st through the 4th. If you have an event that you want to hear on the podcast, you can reach out to us on social media. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at What's New in the Lou Podcast. Thanks, as always, for listening.